Merry Christmas! I created a little CatboyFarm Christmas story for you. Please enjoy! Everyone, I want you to close your eyes and to get your heart full of Christmas cheer. Think of all the nice presents you will get from your loved ones and all the kind greetings from your friends near and far. And I want you to embrace the magical spirit of the CatboyFarm Christmas Bakery. Are you ready? It was a cold, snowy Christmas Eve on a quiet farm somewhere in Germany. The only sounds to be heard were the gentle clucking of the chickens and the soft whinnying of the alpacas in the stable. All of the animals were snuggled up warm in their beds, dreaming of the treats that Santa would bring them in the morning. On the peaceful Catboy farm, everything was dark and covered in white snow. Only one room was still brightly lit in warm candlelights. The Catboy Farm's bakery, just right next to the cat cafe. Inside the cozy bakery, the air was filled with the delicious smells of freshly baked cakes, cookies, and chocolates. The owner of the bakery, Fisky, that's me, was a kind and generous boy who loved nothing more than spreading joy and cheer to those around him. Every year, Fisky transformed the farm's bakery into a magical Christmas wonderland, filled with sparkling lights and festive decorations. He spent hours baking and decorating all sorts of goodies, using only the freshest ingredients and the best quality milk from his own catboys. The star of the show was his famous Christmas cake, a rich and moist creation bursting with flavors of cinnamon, nutmeg, and cloves. He used only the creamiest milk to make the cake, which gave it a velvety texture and a heavenly taste. But Fiskyline didn't stop at just the cake. He also made a variety of cookies, from classic gingerbread men to delicate sugar cookies frosted with sparkling icing. And for the chocolate lovers, he had a selection of creamy truffles and rich chocolate fudge. Of course, everything tasted even lovelier with the special ingredient, sweet and fresh catboy milk. As the day drew to a close, Fisky wrapped up the last of the treats and placed them in a basket by the door, ready for Santa to collect on his way through. He then sat down by the fire with a warm mug of cocoa, feeling grateful for all the joy and happiness that his bakery brought to the community. All the while, his little helpers, Valentine, Felix, and Squeaky, cuddled up to him on a comfortable sofa. As the clock struck midnight, they heard the faint jingling of bells in the distance. They knew that Santa was on his way, and the catboys couldn't wait to see the look of delight on the faces of all the good little boys and girls when they woke up to find their stockings filled with delicious treats. As the years passed, the Catboy Farm's Christmas Bakery became a beloved tradition on the farm. And every year they worked tirelessly to make sure that every child had a happy and a memorable holiday season. And as the snow fell softly outside, they smiled to themselves, knowing that they had helped to spread a little bit of magic and cheer to all those around them. As Fisky sat by the fire, sipping on his cocoa with marshmallows and waiting for Santa to arrive, he couldn't help but feel a sense of excitement and anticipation. Every year, Santa came to visit his bakery to collect the treats that he had prepared for all the good little boys and girls. And this year, he had a special surprise in store for him. Just as the kitties were starting to doze off, they heard a faint jingling of bells and sat up with a start. Santa had arrived! They quickly jumped up and rushed to the door, throwing it open to find Santa standing on the doorstep, a twinkle in his eye, and a bag full of presents slung over his shoulder. "Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas, Senor Pfötchen!" Santa boomed, his deep voice echoing through the quiet bakery. "Merry Christmas, Santa!" the catboy exclaimed, blushing, grinning from ear to ear. Come in, come in! I have some delicious treats waiting for you." Santa stepped inside, his boots making a soft thud on the floor. He sniffed the air, taking in the heavenly smells of freshly baked cakes and cookies. That smells absolutely delightful," he said, rubbing his hands together in anticipation. Fisky led Santa over to the table, where he had laid out a spread of their finest treats. There were frosted sugar cookies shaped like Christmas trees, rich chocolate truffles shaped in paws, and a towering Christmas cake studded with plump raisins and glistening glazed cherries. Santa's eyes grew wide with delight as he gazed at the spread, and he couldn't wait to dig in. He reached for a cookie and took a bite, his eyes rolling back in his head as he savored the sweet, buttery flavor. "Oh my, Senor Pfötchen, these are simply divine," he exclaimed, reaching for another cookie. The catboys chuckled with pleasure, pleased to see Santa enjoying their treats. They knew how hard he worked all year and were happy to do their part in making his Christmas Eve a little bit easier. "You kittens have been working hard again, haven't you? I can tell your effort by the rich taste and delicious smell of those cookies. You truly know how to produce the best ingredients for these delicacies." The catboys looked proud at each other, and Squeaky gave Fisky a cheerful bop on the shoulder. As Santa munched on his cookies and chocolate, Fisky couldn't help but notice that he seemed a little bit distracted. He kept glancing over at a small basket in a corner of the room, right next to the brightly lit window where diligent Lucky was still being milked. Peacefully. His pupils were formed to little hearts, while he moaned softly into his pillows as the milking machine did its work tirelessly. "Is there something you need, Santa?" Fisky asked Santa, sensing that something was on his mind. Santa hesitated for a moment, then let out a big sigh. "Well, Fisky, it is like this. I have a bit of a problem at the North Pole. Our elves have been working deep into the nights. I would love to bring them a surprise for their hard work. And looking at your catboys, they are just too cute to resist. It gets so lonely at the North Pole. And I was wondering if you might be able to lend us one of your kittens to bring some joy to my diligent elves. A bit of release would be exactly what they need after this tough Christmas season." Fisky's heart melted at the idea of the hard-working elves, and he knew he couldn't say no. "Of course, Santa," he said with a smile. "We would be happy to provide you one of our catboys." He glanced over to the others, who already burst in excitement over these news. "I travel with Santa Claus all the way over to the North Pole? Could there be anything more magical?" They were all ready to go, but Fisky had decided in his mind already who deserved it the most. "I'm sure Squeaky will be more than happy to help you out. Most of the milk you find in tonight's delicacies were produced with his personal milk. He did longer hours than anyone else to get enough milk ready for this special night." Santa beamed with gratitude, and he scooped up the small kitten and placed him gently in his arms. "Thank you so much, Fisky. You are a lifesaver. I knew I could count on you, and boy, he looks adorable in his shiny latex suit." "That's why we call him Squeaky. He doesn't want to wear anything else but his latex suit." Cuddling up in Santa's fleecy's arms, he had tears of joy in his eyes. He was so excited that his heartbeat was clearly audible. The look in his eyes showed deep gratitude over to Fisky, but the German boy and his catboy friends just smiled gently, as they all knew how much he deserved this honor. As Santa prepared to leave, Fisky had an idea. "Santa-senpai, would you like to see how we get the milk for our treats?" Santa's face lit up at the suggestion. I would love to see how you get the milk for your treats, little Pötchen," he exclaimed. "I've always been curious about how farms like these work." So Fisky and the others led Santa outside into the snowy fields and then a big red barn where their catboys were sleeping. As they walked, Santa couldn't help but marvel at the peaceful beauty of the farm. The fields were blanketed in a soft layer of snow, and the trees were adorned with sparkling icicles. When they reached the cows, when they reached the cats, little Pfötchen introduced Santa to his clouder. There was Kuro, the rebel of the group, and his personal favorite, Agent Lucius. There was also Buttercup, a gentle and sweet-tempered chubby boy, and next to him, Fluffy, Chewy, and Fuego. Next to the sleeping chamber in the barn was a big hall full of milking stables. Even though it was dark, a soft, soaring sound and mumbling could be heard from the faraway corner. Oh, back there you can hear Sleepy. He has a special condition where we milk him always during the night. He gets all sleepy and lazy during the day, but is always awake late at night. So we decided to teach him a little lesson and milk him all night long. We put him on the machines when we go to sleep and release him when we awake. Santa listened attentively as Fisky further explained how he cared for his catboys, making sure they had plenty of food and water, and he was keeping an eye on their health. He was particularly fascinated by the milking process, and he asked Fisky to show him how it was done. Fisky chuckled as he showed Santa Sleepy's milking station. Sleepy had his eyes covered by a black loincloth and his mouth covered by a soft little ball, so his sounds wouldn't disturb the sleeping catboys. The white-bearded man had a sparkle in his eyes upon this sight and wanted to try how to milk the catboy by himself. Santa proved to be a natural. He had a gentle touch and a soothing way with the catboy, and he seemed to relax and enjoy the milking process. Fisky giggled to himself. If only he knew what a famous person was assisting his milking process just now. Well, we will tell him in the next morning as a Christmas surprise. As they worked, a cheeky small catboy came running up to the catboy shed, his face red from the cold. It was Fisky's younger brother, Yuke, who had come to help out on the farm during Christmas break. Oni-chan! Oni-chan! Yuke called, panting for breath. There's a big bucket of milk in the kitchen. What should I do with it? Fisky smiled at his younger brother. Thank you for bringing the milk. Du Hans, du. Why don't you take it to the bakery and see if you can find a good use for it? Yuki nodded eagerly and ran off to the bakery, the bucket of milk swinging wildly in his hand. Santa and the catboys followed at a more leisurely pace, enjoying the crisp winter air and the peaceful silence of the farm. As they walked, Santa couldn't help but notice that Fisky seemed a bit worried. He could tell that something was on his mind, and he decided to ask him about it. Is everything alright, little Pfötchen? He asked gently. You seem a bit preoccupied. The boy sighed and glanced upon the sky, where a few snowflakes were beginning to fall. It's just that I'm a bit worried about the weather, he said. The forecast is calling for a blizzard tonight, and I'm afraid we might lose power. I don't want all our hard work to go to waste. Santa patted Fisky's head reassuringly. Don't worry, I'll make sure everything is okay. I have a special delivery just for you, just in case. And with that, Santa reached into his bag and pulled out a shiny new butt plug generator. This should help with your bakery running smoothly, even if the power goes out, he said with a wink. Fisky's face lit up with gratitude and surprise. Oh, Santa, you are so thoughtful. Thank you so much. As they reached for the bakery, Yuka was waiting for them, a mischievous glint in his eye. He had a big bucket of catboy milk in one hand and a water gun in the other. Look, Nichan, I made milk snowballs, he exclaimed, brandishing the water gun. Santa's face broke into a broad grin at the sight of the water gun and the bucket of milk. Well, now, that looks like a lot of fun, he said, his eyes twinkling with mischief. Before Fisky could protest, Santa had grabbed the water gun and was filling it with milk. I think it's time for a little water fight, don't you? He said, winking at Yuki and the other catboys. Yuki's, Felix and Squeaky's eyes grew wide with excitement, and he let out a whoop of joy. The four of them ran around in the bakery, squirting each other with milk and laughing with glee. Fisky watched with a mixture of amusement and horror as the four of them chased each other around, splashing milk everywhere. But as the water fight raged on, Fisky couldn't help but feel a sense of joy and happiness. He loved seeing Santa and the catboys having so much fun together, and he knew that this was a Christmas moment that they would always remember. As the water fight finally came to an end, no pun intended, Santa and Yuka were both dripping with milk and out of breath. But they were grinning from ear to ear, and Fisky could see the happiness and joy in their eyes. Well, that was quite the workout, Santa repented, wiping off the milk off his face. But it was worth it. That was a lot of fun. Yuki nodded eagerly, his face alight with excitement. Can we do it again, Santa? He asked, his eyes shining with hope. Santa chuckled and ruffled Yuki's hair. I'm afraid we don't have time, sweetie. I have a lot of presents to deliver tonight, but I'll be sure to come back and visit you again next year, okay? Yuki nodded, blushing, his face falling a bit, but then he brightened up as he remembered something. I almost forgot. I have a present for you, Santa. He ran over to a small table and grabbed a package wrapped in shiny red paper. I made this for you at Catboy school, he said, handing the package to Santa. Santa's face lit up with delight as he unwrapped the present. Inside was a beautiful hand-painted artwork with a picture of Santa's sleigh and 4 catboys strapped to it on the front. Fisky was very proud of his little brother in that moment. Oh my, this is just beautiful, Yuka, Santa exclaimed, admiring the artwork. Thank you so much. I'll treasure it always. Yuka beamed with pride, his face glowing with happiness. I'm glad you like it, Santa, he said. As the evening drew to a close, Santa prepared to say goodbye to Fisky and the catboys. He hugged them all tightly and wished them a Merry Christmas, and then he climbed back into his sleigh, Squeaky snuggling safely in his lap, still dripping off the milk from the water gun fight. Oh ho ho, good thing that you're easy to clean. As the sleigh soared off into the night sky, Fisky and the boys watched with wonder and excitement. They knew that Santa was off to deliver presents to all the good little boys and girls around the world, and they were filled with a sense of joy and happiness. And as the snow continued to fall softly on the ground, Fisky knew that this had been a Christmas to remember, filled with laughter, love, and the magic of the season. And maybe they forgot to untangle Sleepy and Lucky from their milking devices. Merry Christmas, you all. I hope you enjoyed this little story.